Today on the Diz List, we talk about things we wish would come back to Walt Disney World.
Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that lists everything of Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and today we're going to talk about things we wish would come back. Now, there's a couple different levels of this.
Yes.
Things like shows, rides, parking,
Experiences.
all types of
Yeah,
things. And I mean, we're not going to go into long stories about each one, but things that we enjoy, or like for me, it's a lot of the older rides that I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
You're going to talk about some of the different experiences that you have had
or
that has
services
gone away.
or whatever. Yeah, things that I wish wouldn't have gone away.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's this is actually kind of organic because you had thought rides, I had thought experiences.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let's not change it. Let's do this because
We can talk about
both. Like
Yeah.
Disney has changed certain things,
Right.
rides, but they've also changed certain things like services and things like that. And I think it's important for listeners, viewers to kind of understand what we wish we had back, and also what we may have. There's at least one on my list that I've heard rumors about. So
Good.
We'll see. You never know.
Cool.
But yeah, you said you had something you wanted to talk about, and you wanted to surprise me.
So yesterday
Yes.
was my daughter's graduation party. She's a
was,
senior. She's
yeah.
going to be going off to college. And
a good time.
You came.
Yeah.
One of our patrons came.
Yeah.
And quite a few people who we know are listeners were there. It was nice. It was a nice little celebration. So at one point, our friend Brian, so shout out to Brian, who's one of our patrons, was here, and he was talking to us about the show.
Yeah.
And he says, well, let's see where the magic takes place. So we brought him into the studio, and I was like, well, and the interesting thing was, and I don't know if you are watching on YouTube or you're listening, but he was under the impression, and I don't think this is crazy that he was under this impression.
No.
He didn't realize that you and I were in the same place.
Yeah.
So we are in the same room right now looking at each other.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at my house in the studio at
Correct.
my house, and we're looking at each other. And Brian wasn't sure if like Nick was back at his house because the backgrounds were different.
Right.
So again, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a different background here than behind
Right.
Nick, but it's just
the other
my
wall.
camera faces me, his camera faces him.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll get to the point. This is the interesting part. So he says, let's see where the magic happens. So I had the door to the studio locked because there's a lot of kids running around, and we have expensive equipment here, and I didn't want anything to happen to it.
Yeah. Your guitar pedals or something.
So I come over to the door, and I have it's like a little long piece of metal that I use as the key to unlock it. So I unlock the door. We come in, we sit down, and Nick says, so if you're a patron, you get to hear this. Nick says, "Let's do an episode right now." I'm like, "Right now during the party?" He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I go, "All right, let's do it." Well, it'll be just a quick one.
Nobody missed us.
No, it was cool. And Brian was here. It was the first time we've ever had anyone in the room. So we had an audience.
I think
Brian
I said
was
it was
here
like
for that.
it was like we were Bill Cosby or the Cosby Show or something like that. And then I realized maybe that's not the show I should have picked. So, but yeah, it was a live studio audience.
So we finished up, went back outside, enjoyed the party a little bit more, and then at one point the kids are running around again. And I said to Nick, I go, "Hey, if you're going inside, can you make sure that the door to the studio is closed and locked?" He says, "Yeah, no problem." Yeah. So it was locked, or you locked it?
I locked it.
Okay, good. Locked it and closed
Oh,
it.
did I lock it with the key?
So this morning, I come downstairs to the studio to open up just to check on things. And the door's locked.
Yeah, because you told me to.
I was like, shoot, I know, it's all me. So
but you had told me, oh no, I have a key.
Yeah, I know, and I didn't realize.
Now I know where this is going.
I didn't realize that I had left it right here on the table when we walk into the room.
That's awesome.
The door's locked, and this is 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
My son had to run a race up in Rochester in Western New York here. And I couldn't get in, so I went out to my garage, and I had to find this long, like needle-shaped,
like screwdriver,
Phillips head to get in, and like I had to jimmy the lock open.
Well, because it's an interior door, so like you have to have like one of those. It's
not like a regular key, so I opened it, came in here, and right on the desk next to my keyboard in the computer where we record was sitting the key. Again, my fault completely, because I told you go and lock the door for me, which is good.
We were probably being overly cautious. I don't think the kids were coming in here, but you never know. Because the door was closed.
Yeah.
It just wasn't locked.
Yeah. And I mean, we're out having fun and you know, catching up with friends, and the kids are running around the property. I want to let them do that.
Yeah.
I want to have the comfort that they're not going to come in and, you know, kick our equipment over.
It was a beautiful day. So
it was great.
I assume that they didn't spend much time inside because it was beautiful. Everybody was outside between the trampoline, the zip line, all those things doing. So it was a good time.
Yeah. At one point, I think one of the younger kids, I don't remember which one, noticed that my son had his video game system. And then it was, let's play video games. But luckily, my son was good with the younger kids. And your son was too, actually.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, let's stay outside. You know, we're not going to be inside. And so that went pretty well. I know that's not Disney related, but it's kind of behind the scenes, kind of funny podcast stuff. So
absolutely.
Thanks for bearing with us on that. There's been news. We talk a little bit about the parade on our Patreon episode, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Get to see that in a couple weeks.
I mean, to be fair, the news that we would talk about is going to be so delayed because we are a few shows ahead at this point because we are getting ready to go on our trips. So we try to get ahead of the game there. So like news,
it's been so much Disneyland 70th too.
Yes, yeah. I mean the 70th that celebration looked amazing. You know, last week we talked about going to concerts, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. We had talked about going to concerts, and you said it's not really Disney related, but I was at the Beach Boys thing, and then I was listening to this past week's Disney Dish, and they were talking about John Stamos, and then I rewatched D23, and John Stamos was one of the big performers there, and I was like, wait a second, how do we not even make those connections when we said it's not Disney related?
Well, your point was good because like
Stamos is a huge Disney fan.
Well, they were on ABC, and there's that whole episode of Full House where they go to Disney.
Well, Stamos is like one of the premier like collectors of Disney memorabilia in the world.
Really?
Yeah. You know that show that you turned me on to? That was
that's right.
That was like where they go
about that on the show.
Yeah, they go and find like basically this guy had this huge collection.
Was it on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
It was. Yeah.
Like John Stamos like collects crazy amounts of
I want to look up
Disney
the name of the show if listeners are curious.
But yeah. Well, what we're actually going to do is in the second half of the show, we're going to tell you our things that we think need to be brought back to Disney. There's plenty of things that need to be brought back. I do think it's going to be fun because Rob has rides. I don't know what's on his list, rides and attraction type stuff. And I have things that are more experiential or services. You found something?
Yeah, the show is called Up for Auction.
Up for Auction, yes.
And it's one of the biggest collections of Disney memorabilia that goes up for auction.
Yeah, the guy had to rent out a mall to showcase it.
And Chris Hardwick. I forgot who used to be it's all dorky dad jokes.
He used to be on like Road Rules or something like
that. Yes, that's right.
So
Chris Hardwick is the host. If you can handle extreme dad jokes, it's the whole thing.
It's pretty cheesy, but it's cool to see all the stuff.
Yes.
I don't know. I think that's fun to see.
Some really cool stuff. Highly recommend.
It's like almost. It's like watching an entire series of what's the one with the pawn shop? So Pawn Stars.
Oh,
it's like
I watch that all the time.
It's like watching an entire season of Pawn Stars where there's nothing but Disney stuff. Because they go through and show it, and then they talk about the history of the stuff. But we're gonna head off to the halftime show here, and when we get back, we'll discuss the top things that we wish Disney would bring back. Welcome back. We're going to talk about some things that are gone, or
sort of.
Maybe they're not the same. I'm wondering if you could think of one thing that's a Disney, because I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this. So let's not think parks. One Disney franchise that you wish they would do a sequel of. Because that's bringing stuff back. I know I didn't tell you that, but
I think I can give you an answer for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
One franchise that I I really like and means a lot.
Sequel or reboot.
Sure. Actually, I think a reboot would be great. And one of the things that I've said on the show for a long time.
I know exactly where you're going.
Is that I believe that Disney's properties are so good and so strong that you can take the original script, you can take everything, almost everything. Sometimes there's little things that are in there that maybe are off color or sexist or something.
Yeah.
And they can make minor adjustments.
Yep.
Sometimes they overcompensate and it doesn't necessarily work and it turns people off.
Yeah.
The one I would say is maybe you're going to predict is Robin Hood.
Yeah. And you had said that you would love to see them, and this is years ago, early on in the podcast, you had mentioned that it was one of your favorites, and you thought that it'd be really nice to redo it with today's animation techniques.
Yes. Yeah. And I think if you just take that main storyline, with all the same characters, the songs are excellent. Just start the movie off with the rooster at the beginning singing. I just think it would be so great. A lot of times they want to do a live action remake. Sure. Take something like that and make it into, have it give that. So Nick Wilde, for example.
Yep.
Right? Not you.
No, I know what you mean.
Nick,
Yeah.
Not this Nick Wilde. But Nick Wilde from Zootopia has that similar fox look.
100%.
If you were to take that style and they don't look exactly the same. Robin Hood's nose is a little pointier.
Yeah.
And then actually, if you think of Baloo from Jungle Book, him and Little John are essentially like a similar type character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little John would translate so well. Those bigger, furrier characters like, what's his name? Sully from Monsters, Inc. I think that would be great. And I don't want to go on and on too much, but
No.
I what would yours be?
I think for me it would probably be Pinocchio, and
great.
I'd like them to update like the vices when he goes off, because there really is a good moral to that story, right? And so if they could potentially redo it with today's like vices of just like, screen time, even like video games and like
Or vaping.
whatever.
No offense if you vape. We're talking about kids here.
Yeah. Something like that. I think it would be good. And I know they did the live action. I don't know, what do you call it? Live action?
Two of them came out at once because there was a Tom Hanks one maybe.
Yep. Yeah.
Where he was Geppetto.
Yeah.
And then there was one, the Italian director who won. Crud! I can't think of his name.
Yeah, but I would like
on.
some either Pinocchio or possibly Peter Pan.
Yeah.
But that was just a quick thing I wanted to do to kind of ease our way back into the second half of the show. You want to go ahead and tell us something you want to bring back?
Yeah, and at first you said things that you would want to bring back, and I said sort of. So this one used to exist at Magic Kingdom, and they replaced it with Winnie the Pooh, and that's Mr. Toad.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Toad still exists in Disneyland, and it holds up really well. And my kids, my wife, they all agreed.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, kind of flat matte paintings, but the way that the ride works, where you feel like you're going to drive right into a wall and then you curve and go around, I feel like they could redo a similar ride like Mr. Toad, a wacky, fun ride, maybe even something trackless where the whole thing turns around. And I think it's a fun property that they could still do something with it. It might be a fun, like a Disney Plus TV show instead of a full-length movie, because if you think about it, it's Mr. Toad and Headless Horseman Ichabod Crane.
Yep.
Remember?
Yeah.
It's like a half movie, so it's already a little shortened thing. Maybe those could be some fun little shorts on Disney Plus, and then turn it into another attraction. So I would love Mr. Toad to come back to World.
Yeah,
it's in land.
I don't know how big the show building would need to be, but it'd be kind of cool to do that because this is a when.
Yeah, sure.
When they get rid of Hall of Presidents.
Yeah, that
would be
a good
honestly,
spot too.
Right, because you'd have
Liberty Square. That's
Ichabod
smart.
Crane too. Like you could do an Ichabod Crane thing in there.
That's a great idea.
So
that's really cool.
So I went a little bit different, obviously, like I said.
Sure.
I'll start. I did rank mine, so I'm going to actually go from where at the bottom here. I think they need to bring back luggage delivery to your room and the checking your luggage at the hotels. Now they brought it back kind of. They're experimenting with this.
Something with Southwest?
It used to be certain ones, but Southwest was one of them, certain airlines.
Okay.
And it was basically you would check in at your resort for your flight, and so they would take your baggage to the airport. So on your last day, on your last day, you would check.
Forgot about that.
You would check in,
Sweet.
and they would take this up. Now they are piloting this at a couple of the resorts right now. I believe it's the All Stars they're doing that, or possibly Art of Animation, but
Right.
they're piloting it right now. What's happening is that airlines are actually subsidizing this because airlines are hoping to kind of cut back on the amount of time it takes you to get through stuff.
Good idea.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's something I think they should come back. The luggage delivered to your room was always amazing. They'll still hold on to your luggage if you check, you get off your whatever your transportation is, and you give it to them. Yeah. They'll hold on to it. But it used to be, you'd show back up to your room checking after you went to the park for the day. There are your bags.
Surprise.
Yeah, cool. So that was mine. What do you got next?
I would like them to bring back some of the original of Journey into Imagination.
Oh, yeah.
So the current version is, it has some of the same things, but
Yeah.
that original was so creative and had Dreamfinder and the balloon. And I think the majority of the listeners who have experienced that are probably saying along right now, yeah, bring back some of that stuff. And even if it's, I know it's not gone. I know that Figment is not gone completely, and maybe people are saying, well, Figment's still there. I just want to bring back some of those elements from the previous ride.
And
So
I
it's
feel
a
like-
shorter one, but
I feel like they've made enough advancements in animatronics now that they're less likely to be damaged or not damaged. The wear and tear on them are different, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's why they replaced the ones in Country Bears, because they replaced them with new type of motors as opposed to what they had before.
less maintenance.
And
it'll
it's
break
less
down.
maintenance, less
For now.
breakdown, because that was one of the major issues with Journey into Imagination was that one scene with Dreamfinder, the big giant balloon or blimp or whatever you want to call it, and it really got to a point where Kodak couldn't afford to really keep it up to date, and I mean they were going bankrupt at the time, as we know here in Western New York. But
Yes.
I agree with you. My number 4 is something that I know you agree wholeheartedly. I have never even gotten to experience it. People complain about this all the time. I don't get it. They need to bring back later nights at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
They need it. It's why you have that beautiful park at night. Even if it's just Pandora is open.
I don't think people know. I don't know. Have you experienced this at all, Pandora at night?
No, because
I don't know if our listeners even know what's there.
You have to be there in the dead of winter, and be in there from like 4 to 6, and then it closes at 6. You've got to be there then, otherwise you're not even going to see it at dusk, let alone dark. And I understand that some people are saying, well, it's because of the animals. Well, they did it before. You're telling me that they all of a sudden grew a conscience?
Well,
they always did it before.
Part of the park can be closed down. Okay, they
You
do
mean
that
like they do
during
for-
rope drop.
Exactly. Early entry, they do it. Why can't they do that here?
So maybe what happens is
close off the
at
trails.
6 o'clock, you close off the trails, you close off the safari in general,
Mm-hmm.
and you can spend time in one of the two far east and west areas. So when Indiana Jones and that whole America's area opens, that would be great at night too,
Yeah.
with all the lights. I'm sure it would be beautiful. But the thing we didn't talk about that I hinted at the beginning is, and I've experienced this, it's breathtaking. So it's similar to when you used to be able to go to Epcot and they have all the fiber optics in the ground.
Yep.
They have a little bit of that left. But in Pandora, everything would glow. They had the fiber optics in the ground. It was incredible.
Bioluminescence.
Oh, it's amazing.
I know it's glow in the dark.
Oh,
paint,
true.
but it's
it
bioluminescence.
was really, really
It just
cool.
they got to bring it back. Come on, Disney,
That's
bring
true.
it back.
Yep. My next one is real easy. It is that building that is to the left of Test Track that Horizons used to be in,
Yeah.
right? There's nothing there at all. So at this point, you don't even have to bring back Horizons. Let's just make that something, whether it's a festival space or a ride.
But Rob,
or
we're done
anything.
at Epcot. We're done at Epcot. They said that last. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need something there. Just honestly, what's in it? Because they were going to
I
make
don't know.
it something.
Yeah.
If I were to open the doors and go in there, what would I see?
I mean,
Nothing?
My guess is
Tables,
yeah,
storage?
storage probably. I mean, look, that festival space over at Communicore Hall.
Yeah.
Like during certain festivals is great. Right now, there's no festival, and they were talking on a show the other day that I was listening to about how empty it was and how it's a disgrace. They mentioned the fact that this would never have happened under Michael Eisner's watch.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have. Like they don't just put something in there. Like it's the comment that was made on the show was, it says something when people won't even go into an air-conditioned space, probably the best air-conditioned space in all of the park.
Yeah.
They won't even go into it in 90-degree weather in the summer because it's just empty.
Yep.
It says something. For me, my number 3 thing that I would like to get back, again, this is a service. Specifically, it is room service. They do not have in-room dining back yet at all.
Wow.
So they used to have this thing over at, this is going to be something that you would have loved to experience. You could order at Ohana their meal, okay? And they would bring it to your room, okay? And you might be saying, well, I'm not.
Well, what if I eat all the shrimp?
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you watch old videos where people would do this,
yeah,
it was so much food, Rob, that I swear to you, you would still be satisfied.
Wow.
The hack was, and maybe this is why they didn't bring it back, the hack was you would order it for 2 people. There could be 4 people in your room, and you would feed all 4.
Jeez.
That was the thing. And because they knew it was like all you could eat or all you care to enjoy. They don't even need to do that. Just bring back some sort of room service.
Yeah,
if I can get room service at like the Hampton Inn, at the Days Inn, if I can get room service at these places down the road, you're going and you're staying at one of the Wyndhams. Like if you can get room service there, like here's the other thing. Guess what? I can order a pizza to the Poly. So if you if you offer room service, I'm going to be giving you more money.
Yeah.
What are they doing? I don't know. That just bugs me that they don't have room service. So
that's an easy one because they already have a restaurant.
Dining. Yeah.
Just move it from point A to point B.
Yeah, in-room dining or like breakfast. Can you imagine the killing they would make if they offered like one of those things where you put on the hanging tag on your door, you write what you want.
Breakfast, please. They pick it up. Oh, that's a great idea.
Like they
or
do
on
that.
An app. Either way.
Yeah, they do it at hotels all the time where you have a little thing. Yes, I'd like breakfast, and they can charge it to my room, right? You charge it to the room. It's very easy. Like I don't understand why they're not doing that, because they would make a killing on that. If I could get like Mickey waffles delivered to my door in the morning instead of having to like eat a granola bar or whatever quick in the morning, I would get the Mickey waffles every morning.
Yep.
There would be more money for them. So that's it. Number 3, room service.
My next one is Disney. Obviously has acquired a lot of different properties between Marvel and Fox, and they have all this programming on Hulu and National Geographic. What if they brought back the Great Movie Ride and they just do movies that they now have the licenses for? Because when they were MGM Studios, they had Casablanca and Wizard of Oz and Alien. Now Alien is part of Fox, but what if they did another similar ride to the Great Movie Ride, but just incorporate the properties that they have the rights to right now?
Yeah.
I believe they don't even have the rights still to Twilight Zone. I think they still have to pay the Serling,
they don't.
Rod Serling's family. For
I'm pretty sure that they like pay for the rights to even use that name.
Yeah. And then Aerosmith is going away.
Right.
So they're going to save money there because they already have the license for Muppets.
Yeah.
So that's a money savings too.
I mean, there's rumors that they're going to be doing something with Animation Courtyard. Okay.
Yes.
There's
something is going on.
Something's going on.
Well, Jim Hill
hinted at it and goes,
Yeah.
"Can I say that?" And then immediately Len Tessa was like, "No, you can't." Mm-hmm. And so he pumped the brakes.
And they know.
And
they
he's like, "Let's just say that keep your eyes on Animation Courtyard," which, by the way, it's emptiness. So, I mean, they could put something over there.
Yeah.
They could easily put something over there.
Well, the Disney Junior stuff is pretty popular. I mean, my kids are older, they're not into it.
That's not over in Animation Courtyard.
Where is that then?
Animation Courtyard, as far as I know, the Animation Courtyard they're talking about is where they have the Pixar, like you can meet Edna Mode and you can do that. I think that's what they're
there.
I think that's what they're talking about.
Oh, I thought it was the area where Star Wars Launch Bay and all that was.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure what he's talking about is over by where where Edna Mode is and Frozone walks around.
When I think Animation Courtyard, I am pretty sure that building that was the Star Wars Launch Bay used to be the actual animation studio. So and that's kind of where they did the studio tours also were over in that area. Yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong spot. Listeners, let us know.
I'm 95% certain what he was talking about was the emptiness that is where you can meet Edna Mode.
Gotcha.
And sometimes Frozone's walking around.
Because the entrance for
the Incredibles
Toy
area.
Story used to be there.
Correct.
Toy Story Mania's entrance was down there on the right.
I 90% certain that.
Okay.
95% certain that's what he was talking about.
Makes sense.
So, yeah. I agree with you. Like, they need to bring that back because I didn't get to experience it.
Well, it's just something different too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they own the rights to all these great properties, and you can pack them all into one ride.
Absolutely. For me, is my next thing, number 2 on my list, is something that I took advantage of a ton my first trip, which was early pre-park opening meals. So you would show up, there would be a line specifically, like at Magic Kingdom was all the way to the left. You check in, they'd scan your Magic Band, be like, yep, you do have a reservation at Cinderella's Royal Table, or you do have a reservation at Be Our Guest, or you have a reservation at, when at Epcot, you have a reservation at Garden Grill, or wherever you have a reservation, right? You get in before the crowd. There are cast members making sure that's where you're going, right? So you're checked in, you're in before everybody else.
To check your reservation.
Yep. You're eating. And if you're the first one sat down at one of those restaurants, by the time you're done eating, even if you eat like a speed demon, you're getting released from your meal at about the time that they're letting people in for their first, not for the rope drop. So they haven't dropped the, but they're letting people in. Right. To start to queue up.
And you told me once that your server was pretty cognizant of that.
Yeah.
And knew that, okay, you guys want to go ride Soarin'?
Yep. Yeah. At Garden Grill, it was like, we got in, and nothing was open, obviously, other than the restaurant. We're in there. We met the characters twice, and the person said, "Are you planning on riding Soarin'?" And I was like, "We would like to." And they're like, "Okay, then I'll just make sure. I'll bring your bill with the next round of food.
Mm-hmm.
You can sign off on everything then. And, as soon as you're done eating, just get up and you can go." And we saw the characters a third time, I believe. And then it was about the time that the park was going to open. We went down. We rode Soarin' twice, back to back, center, front row. Well, not front row.
Yeah.
Top row. So you don't have people's feet hanging.
Yeah.
But we did it twice in a row, back to back, because there was no line because it was pre-park opening.
Great.
So that was kind of cool. That's a nice little hack. And I think, the other thing is, if you're adding 45 minutes to an hour onto the opening time of your restaurant, that's more people, more reservations, more food, more money. But that's just me.
Smart. It seems like a lot of these are layups and they just don't do it.
Yeah, I think some of it is staffing, but yeah.
Here's a big one.
Yep.
And this one, my son and I were talking about the other day, and he had mentioned how much he enjoyed doing this. So I found the video and sent it to him. It's Jedi training.
Oh, yeah.
There's a rumor for a while it was coming back because where this Jedi training was to the left of Star Tours.
Yes.
And what would happen, if you're unfamiliar with this, is you would bring your kids and they would check in and they would kind of register to the far left of Indiana Jones.
Yes.
That area.
Yeah.
They would give your kid a Jedi robe and a lightsaber, and they would do like a short little training, and then they would go with cast members. So you have to be one of those parents, which I am. It's fine. They're like, you can't go with them. Like they go with a group of kids. I mean, you can kind of see where they are, but then they come up and they stand on stage, and Darth Vader comes out. And they do an actual lightsaber battle on stage.
That stage is still there.
It is still there. I mean, it would be very easy.
They have photo
to
ops.
bring back.
They oftentimes have photo ops with, Rey sometimes is there.
Yeah.
I've seen Kylo up there. I've seen Chewbacca up there.
My kid loved it. Sent him the video. He was watching it the other day, and I just feel like that's something that
it's
doesn't
a layup,
cost.
dude.
It is. It doesn't cost a lot of money. Okay, you have to pay for a couple cast members to get up there, but that's going to bring people in the door. If a kid knows that they get to do a lightsaber duel with Darth Vader or Kylo Ren or any of the Star Wars villains, come on.
Not only that, but it's a service it's a piece of entertainment that if they brought back, they could possibly charge something for that one. Like I'm not saying I would pay a ton of money, but like, I'd be more apt to pay for that than I would be to pay for
Savi's workshop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would agree with
you. So, I wish they would bring it back without having to charge, but I think it's, again, that's something that they have the stage still.
Yeah.
You need to get a couple cast members, and maybe they would prefer to do that over in Galaxy's Edge, but there's area over there to do it too. They could easily do, but I don't know. So I've only really got one more, and it's a big one.
Okay.
And
I have two.
That's okay. And the one big thing that I want back, and I know people are going to be like, yeah, duh, of course this is it. Magical Express.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. There are rumors. There are rumors that they're going to try to bring up. Basically, here's what's happened. And Disney's aware of this because Disney has like sent stuff out in surveys about this. People now rent cars or they get, they either rent a car or they realize that Uber really isn't that hard to get around. And then they're like, I'm over at Saratoga and it's going to take me 20 minutes to get to such and such. Anyway, what if I go 20 minutes to downtown Orlando or 20 minutes to Universal?
They're losing money.
And they're losing money.
They are.
Whereas if they bus you in,
you don't have a car, you're stuck.
And you don't,
for better or for worse.
And you don't even know. You don't necessarily know that Uber is not that hard to do.
Yeah.
Like I know that but if you're somebody who's from the middle of nowhere, where we live, you'd never call up an Uber to get to the grocery store.
Yeah.
So if you're coming from the country and you've never experienced Uber or Lyft, and you've never gone to big cities or anything like that, you don't know how easy it is. And Disney puts you on this bus and brings you to the park, and you're like, oh, look, that's wonderful. I have my transportation. But now they don't have that. So people have found out that Mears is not worth it, not at the price they're charging.
Mm-hmm.
Mears isn't worth it. So they either get a town car service, they get an Uber, maybe a taxi, and they realize, this isn't so bad. Or they rent a car, and then they're really not tethered.
Because they could drive over to Universal.
And it's not just driving over
anywhere.
there. It's not just driving over there.
Yeah.
You could go, I want to go to Miller's Ale House, which is a cheap, I don't know if you've never been to one, it's kind of like imagine like Applebee's, but more localized, but it's like cheap food, beer, whatever, sports bar, right? I want to go there. Why? Because it's a heck of a lot cheaper. Or I want to go to I want to get sushi. Let's drive to this place over in Celebration. I want to go to a local brewery. Oh, I'm going to go to that brewery in Celebration or something like that. But if you're getting a bus there, and there are rumors that they have considered bringing this back for a charge. And you know what? I'm fine with it. Charge it something that makes sense. Yeah. And along with it, recall that they picked up your luggage for you. Do you remember that?
I do.
You got those tags. You got the yellow tags in the mail. You put the yellow tags on your bag, and you didn't have to do a thing because it told them exactly where you were located.
Life was so much easier then.
Yeah, and but it was easier, but there's got to be studies that show that they're losing money as a result. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're hurting right now. They're not going to come out and say it, but Universal is making a killing. Universal's doing so well that they're staying open beyond the hours they said they're going to stay open. Whoa. Oh, park closes at 9. No, it doesn't. Park's staying open till 11.
Jeez.
Yeah.
They just stopped letting people in?
Well, yeah, but they keep running the park. They keep running the rides.
Jeez.
They don't make any announcements, whatever. It's like, cool. And you don't do that because you're making more money. You're doing that because it's so packed. It's like, yeah. I mean, they are making more money in merch sales and stuff like that, but they're doing well. And Disney, look at the ride time waits. Over the 4th of July,
they were down.
It was like a record low.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm telling you, it's gonna be interesting. I'll bet this is gonna force them to bring back Magical Express. They've got to. They've got to do something.
So.
They have to do something. So that's my number one.
I have two more.
Okay.
One, and this is kind of a long shot, but I was talking to my dad recently about the Backlot Tour.
Yeah.
So the Backlot Tour used to take place when Hollywood Studios was MGM Studios.
Yep.
It's the area where Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge is.
Yeah.
And you would drive around and see the Golden Girls house, and they'd have all these different things that go on back there. I mean, they would need to find some space, but it's kind of like, if you look at it this way, you're on a tram. It doesn't even have to be driven by a person. It can be like an indoor ride, but it's kind of like a museum.
Doesn't Universal still have one like that?
They do in California.
Okay.
I don't think they do it at the park in Florida anymore. So there's a lot to go behind that. I won't spend too much more time on it. But this one I watched recently because I have this in Tokyo, and it used to be, that's a very different version, but it used to be in the Magic Kingdom, and it's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh.
And it was just a beautiful thing to look at when you went to the Magic Kingdom Park, just to see that Nautilus ship and going around. It's the area kind of where Little Mermaid is now.
Yep.
But the version that they have in Tokyo, and maybe they've tricked me, but it looks like they don't even go underwater anymore. It looks like you have a porthole, and I, again, might be wrong. I think the inside of the ride is just like looks like you're underwater, but you're not. I think the porthole has bubbles and water inside that. So you're looking through water, but you're not actually underwater. I think that's how it is. Again, I might be wrong, but I feel like that's really easy to do because you don't have to maintain an entire ship that's going underwater and all of these like animatronic fish and the giant squid and everything.
You could do something very similar to like Star Tours with that.
You could. That's a totally different thing.
I'm saying you get in a ride vehicle, right?
Yeah.
And it makes it feel like you're moving. What I'm saying is the ride pitches left, right, and you have screens that are projected in front of you, but then it looks like you're looking through water.
Yeah.
I mean, you could easily, you're not wrong that you could easily do that. I never experienced it. Did you ever experience it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then they have something similar in Disneyland, right?
It was that, and they have switched it to Finding Nemo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that one's also kind of like dingy or like...
we ran out of time.
Yeah. I've heard negative mostly about that. So
we had a full day to do all of Disneyland, and we couldn't get it all done.
Yeah.
And we weren't really even close.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much
to do there.
You need at least, I would say, 4 days probably.
Yeah. It was a lot.
At least.
So that's what I have.
Yeah.
They used to have the Skyway. I don't think they would bring that back. They had a lot of trouble with people spitting down at other people. Because then I thought, well, put it in an area where you're not going over top of people, and then you're just going over these ride buildings with just a flat white roof. I mean, who cares? It's not really a good scene there.
No.
And the other one I thought of, but they couldn't bring this back, is Snow White's Scary Adventures. It was a great ride that used to be in Magic Kingdom, but they already have a ride for Snow White. But then here's my counter argument to myself, because I was thinking about this earlier. Okay, there's more than one Toy Story ride in the park. So there's a Toy Story ride in Magic Kingdom. There's a whole Toy Story land. So you could do something that's related to Snow White in a different park. I don't know necessarily where it would fit, but same thing with Frozen. You have Frozen in multiple parks.
I don't see a reason why
there's
they
no
couldn't
rule
do that.
against it. So.
No, absolutely not.
I don't know. So that's what I have for things we wish would come back.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Let us know in the comments down below what you'd like to see come back, because the reality is I'm sure you guys all have stuff that you miss from the parks. If you get a chance, please head over to patreon.com/DizListPod. Give us a follow there. If you give us a follow, also send me your Instagram handle, and I will add you to our close friends. We're going to be doing a lot of close friends stories over there, because the reality is we're going to be going on trips. So it's a great way to follow us. Also, if you wanted to pay the small fee, it's like a cup of coffee a month. You get early access to new episodes, bonus content, as well as after 3 months of membership, we'll send you a mug. So you can have your morning coffee thinking of the Dizzlist Pod, or while listening to the Dizzlist Pod.
That's true.
So thanks, guys. It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Tomorrow's just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.